Good morning, wonderful people, great Biafrans, wherever you are. On the face of this very planet, we gladly welcome you to our unusual early morning broadcast on this very day, the third day of March, in the year of our Elohim 2020, with the time now standing at precisely 5 minutes past 6 a.m. in the blessed holy land of Biafra. I welcome each and every one of you, and as I do so, I will encourage you to also wake up those around you as you're getting the children ready for school, as you're preparing to go to your workplaces, as you're preparing to go to your businesses, as some people all over the world are waiting breathlessly for the decision of the laughable Supreme Court of the damnable Zoological Republic. We are here to remind humanity. We are here to preach this very gospel. We are here to maintain our formidability, our resoluteness, our determination to ensure the restoration of Biafra in our time. We are not going to be derailed. We are not going to be distracted. We are not going to be confused. We must remain disciplined. We must remain focused. We must remain dedicated. We must remain diplomatically engaged. We must at all times place Elohim, the Most High, Chukwokika Biama, in front, by the sides, and at the back of whatever we are doing, because without the grace of God Almighty in heaven, we wouldn't be here today, and IPOB would not be what it is. Therefore, this very gospel, as unusual as it may sound, be preached this very morning, that heaven and earth may testify that in their time, in their age, in their period, they preached, and heaven listened, and Biafra came. That is why we maintain ever so formidably at all times that the world would not have seen anything like this, because this very Biafra that we so ceaselessly seek is the very last miracle on this earth. Many are opposed to Biafra, both in the physical and in the spirit. Many have come, they have tried from Britain to go on to the alliance of the children of darkness. They did not prevail, and they can never prevail, because we represent the light. We are the children of truth. We are the children of heaven itself. That was why our ancestors, when you asked them where they came from, they said they descended from heaven itself. I have come to lend credence to that very assertion. Therefore, I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to some of you. Although it is early in the morning in the blessed land of Biafra, for some people it is their afternoon, for some it is their evening, and for some it is their night. Regardless of where you are living, where you are domiciled on the face of this very planet, this is the one radio station we can assure you is listened to along the length and breadth, every longitudinal dissection, every latitudinal line. People are listening to Radio Biafra at this very moment, making it arguably the most listened to radio station on the face of this very earth, not minding what our enemies are doing, not minding what our detractors are doing. We are resolute. We are determined, we are unstoppable, because we do not retreat and we do not surrender. We are IPOB. We march through everything. Every tribulation, every trial, every obstacle, we crush and we continue marching. That is who we are. And the coming of Biafra will be a crowning glory of that very ethos. We must pray before we go in this very morning to remind humanity, to remind the world, to remind those idiots with their horse wig who will be sitting in Supreme Court today, that the world is aware of what is happening. This is the age of IPOB. Everywhere in the world, people are aware of what is happening in the damnable Zoological Republic. That little experiment, that very useless contraption that has no meaning, that people answer to and pledge allegiance to out of ignorance, stupidity, and hopelessness. We have come that we may bring light where once there was darkness. We have come that the world may know the truth about Nigeria. We have come that Biafra may be restored. And for that reason and that very reason alone, we give glory to Elohim in heaven, the one and only indivisible God in heaven, the creator of time itself and space. Everything created was made by the speech and the words that came out of the mouth of God Almighty in heaven. Therefore, we submit to his will and not to the will of flesh nor man, but to the will of God, that everybody throughout time prayed to. I said everybody prayed. That was why in our last broadcast, I said the prayer of Yahweh Yeshua. He said, our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name, in recognition of the supremacy of God Almighty. There is no other God apart from one visible God in heaven. The same God of Israel, the same God of Eri, the same God of the ancient Siribo land, the same God who determines morning, afternoon, and night, the same God that provides for his children, the same way that he provides for the birds of the air that has no work. The same God that said we must come out of detention, come out of prison, the same God that said that every mortal flesh must be committed to earth. That is the God we worship. The same God of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob. The same God of Samuel, the same God of David. That same God of Jeremiah. The same God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. That same God that changeth not. The same God that remains the same in the ancients as it is today. The same God of Eri. That came to Umweri, that came to Aguleri, that said that here I will build my people from the darkest continent on this earth that light may come, where once there was no light. The same people that never change, the same God that we worship that never change. The white man came to confuse us, and partially they succeeded. But we have rediscovered who we are, our roots, and that is where we are going. That is why IPOB is successful and will continue to remain. In the name of Elohim, we fight. In the name of Chukwuka Biama, we fight. In the name of God in heaven Almighty, we fight, and this generation shall win. Let us pray. I will pray in the language of heaven. Some people do not understand it, but the angels in heaven are bowing before the throne of Elohim. Also, my father and my mother, they bow and they say, you are holy. They say to God, you are holy. Forever and ever, you are holy. Without it, we can never succeed. Without it, we cannot be where we are today. The only reason why we are where we are today is because of Chukwuka Biama. There is no other name. I said no other name under the sun. Only that belongs to God in heaven. And as I promised once I was in detention, in the assembly of men all over the whole world, I will proclaim your goodness. That was the prayer I prayed inside detention. That God Almighty in heaven, should this be made possible and I walk away from here with this life intact, I promise you, in the assembly of men all over the world, I will proclaim your name and your goodness, that you are the God of yesterday, today, and forevermore. Nothing compares to thee. Nothing at all. That is why I do not equate the glory and the majesty of God in heaven to anything that is on this very earth. Absolutely nothing. Today, I will say a prayer of the very first verse of the testament that Elohim gave to on Mount Sinai. He said, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of bondage in the land of Israel. You will have no other God before me. You will not make anything of an image of that which is in heaven, on earth, and in the water underneath it. You will not bow down before any idol. You will not bow down before any idol. That is the word of God in heaven. For I am a jealous God. I will bring iniquity upon iniquity on those that defile my name and my command, but unto those that do as I have spoken, I will bless abundantly forever and ever. That very people is IPOB, that very generation is Biafra. We proclaim the word of God in heaven. Not the word of man, but the word of God in heaven. The God of the ancients, the God of our fathers and of our ancestors. That is why we are successful. That is why we will continue to be successful. Chineke na nke pụrụ m ihe niile onye kere eluigwe ma kelee ụwa. Onye ịhụnanya ya na ebere ya na-adịghị agwụ agwụ, nwanne otu onye isi iyi nke ndụ. Onye ọ bụ naanị ya bụ ama amacha onye guzo anyị n'ihu eguzo anyị n'azụ. Onye na-elekọta ndị ya mgbe niile, Chineke na nke ụmụ ogbenye. Onye na-adịghị agharịpụ ndị ọbụla ji enwe ntụkwasị obi. Chineke nna ka anyị na-akpọ isi ala, anyị ewe na-akpọkwa ha so ya mgbe niile. Biko nụ amara gị na ọmịiko gị, ịhụnanya gị na ebere gị ka anyị na-arịọ n'isi ụtụtụ a n'ụwa niile bụ ụmụ gị bụ ndị Biafra. Ezinụlọ IPOB nke gị onwe gị ji aka gị wee hikọta iwe gwa anyị ka anyị gbasa eziokwu nke gị ka o wee ruo ebe niile ụwa na amalite mgbe bụ n'ala Biafra ka o si kwado. Nna nke ebere dị ngọzi, biko mere anyị ebere. Onye ime eluigwe, biko mere anyị ebere. Ndị nsọ na-akpọku aha nsọ gị n'igwe. Ndị okenye oru 2 na 4 na-atụ mkpọ ọlaedo n'ala n'ihu ocheeze gị. Ha niile si na ịdị nsọ Chineke. Nsọ 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 ka Jehova dị. Anyị wee na-efe gị, wee na-aja gị mma, wee na-akpọku gị, na-asị gị eze ebube dị ngọzi, onye bi n'ime eluigwe, biko n'otuto n'ibu nke na-anaghị mbuli elu bụ nke na-anaghị ịkpụ isi ala bụ nke na-anaghị. Biko nụ na n'otuto na nsọpụrụ na ịja mma site n'ebighị ebi ma ruo n'ebighị ebi. Ise na nke a bụ ekpere ndị Igbo ndị mbụ, the very ancient, that God looked after and protected in the land of Biafra. So shall we return to our old ways, that God in heaven may have all the glory, all the adulation, all the adoration, all the praise and all the honor. That Biafra may come in our time, and our testimony will be very simple. That we do all that you see around us, all that we seemingly accomplished, was by the grace of Chukwukika Biama in heaven, and not of man, not of flesh. We have not done anything. All that we see around us is because of the mercy and grace of God in heaven, not of man. We have not accomplished anything. We are mere mortals. One day we shall die and be committed to earth. Glory and adoration belongs to only one true God, one God in heaven, indivisible over time. The God we say is the Ancient of Days, the Ancients of the Ancients, the beginning of everything that human beings are conscious of. We must proceed this very morning, resolutely, determinedly, and irrepressibly to preach the gospel of truth, the gospel of redemption, gospel of hope, this same gospel that will liberate and free the land of Biafra, the gospel that will restore that which they have destroyed, a goal of immense and immeasurable proportion. On this very day, the Supreme Court of the Zoological Republic of Nigeria will sit in contemplation and determination of the faith of not just Imo State, not just the East, but the chosen land of Biafra itself, because they have conspired as usual, they have found a willing tool in Hopus or them. They have found conspirators and traitors, deceivers and saboteurs in our midst, who are willing for a portage to sell our land. They are willing to sell everything, including children, in order to make sure that they advance their vainglorious existence, in order to endear themselves to their caliph masters, in order that they may rule over the children of the Most High, the children of light. But today we shall to them the rest of humanity that this very IPOB, this very movement, this very time, in this very age, some will not be defeated. The likes of Hopus or the prevail in our land. The likes of those who are selling our people for very many decades now, they will never prevail. Can never ever prevail. I can assure you that categorically 100%. It can never happen. Hopus to them, unless the people of Imo vote for him. They did not vote for him, and he cannot be there. So all the convoluted mathematics that makes no sense, all the arithmetic of the Supreme Court, all those who are hoping in perpetuating or hoping to benefit from the perpetuation of injustice will all be disappointed. It is not possible. Common sense do not support it. If you do not support justice, but it law cannot hold that which is just. They say that the judicial last hope of the common man, the downtrodden, everybody, those who gun, those who rule, those that command armies in any democracy around the world, is supposed to have what I would refer to as common judicial purpose, with submission to the rule of law, not the rule of cabal, not the rule of Fulani cabal, murderers, terrorists everywhere in the north. No, but to the rule of law. What the world is watching today is to see if that downtrodden for many decades can at least for once have a semblance of representation. If those are going to don their horse wig, they can do the info and do that which is right for God in heaven and on earth. And what is that? They know that people are very, very angry. Biafra very, very angry. We've been waiting patiently as our pastors to allow our very decision to reach by the Supreme Court. Nor else we have any interest in politics. No, we don't. Our interest is to ensure justice is done at all times, regardless of who is affected. It doesn't matter whilst in detention, in prison, forced release of Hazara kids who are wrongfully accused belonging to Boko Haram. I fought for those claim belong to Ombatse, if some of you know that very cult group from our state. Fought diligently for their parents to leave their village into Abuja to make sure some know that their children were locked in DSS dungeon, and some abandoned. We for them to be safe. For we fight injustice wherever we see it. It doesn't matter who it affects. What we are trying to is to build what I call a bank for Biafrans, for reference purposes in the future. That every Biafran, male, female, and child must understand that wherever they see injustice, they confront it. As they see it, they must confront it. Because injustice is evil, and God will not allow us successful when we see those who are less privileged and we allow them to go on to continue to suffer as Biafrans will do, as those they call citizens will do, because I live in the artificially created. The general perception of the judiciary in Nigeria is there one opportunity to try to remedy what is left of their existence. The situation in Nigeria is an indication of how terrible the place is as a country. Very, very terrible. Our people, I'm getting some complaints. You know, Facebook is being run by some Yoruba people in Lagos and in Abuja. They do not want the world to hear the gospel. They will do all they can to disengage. They will do all they can to frustrate. They will do all within their power to make sure that this gospel is not heard world, but is being listened to all over. I assure them, we are on multiple platforms. The sooner they realize this is done, nobody can stop us. After the broadcast, it will be over and over and over on Radio Biafra. All platforms of Radio Biafra will have it. So they're wasting their time. They should better stop removing people who are listening to us on Facebook, on my page, and also that of Radio. We are going to ask a very simple question this very morning. A very simple question this morning. Should hope who's in the first place, and want to note this down carefully one after the other, to understand how evil, how duplicitous, to understand how compromised, how heartless, how injudicious the Supreme Court of Nigeria is in relation to the Imo State gubernatorial of the back. God must know this. We are asking, in fact, my assumption is that Hope Uzodinma should even be in contention. APC should not even be in contention. Contesting. The Supreme Court bribing the judges you have the Supreme Court, and Tanko aeroplane Tanko Muhammad, an illiterate Sharia judge, become the Chief Justice of a common law practicing a shame and a stain on everything that calls him or herself a Nigerian. A very big shame. Should APC have even fielded a candidate in Imo State? The answer is no. Do you want to know why? Because APC fielded two candidates during the election, Uche Nwosu and Hope Uzodinma. I am not telling you what was made up. I'm telling you the decision of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. The Supreme Court, this time now, they were claiming in Bayelsa verdict that we cannot ourselves. This is Supreme Court. That is final. By listening and entertaining the decision of Hope Uzodinma, the Supreme Court of Nigeria sat on a decision and ruling of its own. The same Supreme Court is sitting on appeal on a decision reached by the Supreme Court. How was that possible? Or how is that possible? For those who don't know, the governorship candidate of Action Alliance in the 2019 election is a young boy called Uche Nwosu, who was married to the daughter of the Arch himself, the caliphate servant. That's Okorocha. Uche Nwosu went to court. And in fact, AA dragged him to court, which is an alliance. And in court, the Supreme Court quashed the candidature of Uche Nwosu representing the Action Alliance. Do you know the reason the Supreme Court gave? Because Uche Nwosu is the nominated candidate of APC. Understand this very, very clearly. Uche Nwosu, by affirmation of the same Supreme Court of Nigeria, they recognized him as the authentic candidate of APC. I will go to beat the 388 and 366 and all that rubbish. But I want the world to understand the way the Nigerian judiciary functions. I want the world to understand that when I insult our people, we black Africans, I have a very good reason for that. The world must understand that those who run Nigeria do not have conscience. They are not human beings. These are wild beasts of the forest. I want to prove to the whole world, I forget all their grammar they spend months writing and compare and plagiarize off the internet, that they have not theirs. Let me reaffirm. Let me restate what I have just said. Supreme Court of Nigeria, Supreme Court of Nigeria, which these judges affirmed that Uche Nwosu is the authentic candidate for APC. Then where did those of them hopes of them come from? Now Oshomole and those in APC imposed hope of them contrary to Supreme Court ruling. I want to repeat. The imposition of Hope Uzodinma as the APC candidate was in complete disregard for Supreme Court judgment. These are the people running a country. APC. They know that AA Action Alliance took Uche Nwosu to court. And the matter was heard at the Supreme Court and the determination was made that you cannot be for parties against it. You are the authentic candidate of APC. Uche Nwosu came, I don't know why I mentioned that little boy this morning. Uche Nwosu came back and expressed his disappointment that the ruling APC had replaced his name as the authentic candidate of the party during the election. Whilst this matter was pending at the Supreme Court. This is the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Where the ruling party has no regard for their judgment, only when it goes their way. The only time they respect the rule of law is when it goes their way, the way they have planned it, they have laid it out. Or else, if they give you bail, they will hold you. If they release you, they will hold you. Anything they want, they do. That is how lawless Nigeria is. That is why they keep breeding bandits every blessed day. Because those that are saying, oh, put down nothing, stop sacking villages. Even the APC government is obeying law. Nigeria is one lawless jungle. One lawless zoo is even better. This is what we are bringing to the attention of the world this very moment, especially from Biafra land, that Nigeria is unsalvageably evil. There is nothing anyone can do to redeem Nigeria. It is impossible. Because from top to bottom is steeped in injustice, corruption, and evil. All of them are known. A whole Supreme Court has no right. Because they didn't bribe him or her. Oh, it is just their Supreme Court now. You get them to enter a verdict that suits the Supreme Court now. You come and bribe us. That's exactly what they're doing. The most corrupt set of people you have on the face of the earth. Judiciary. Very corrupt, hopeless, and without conscience. Supreme Court of Nigeria affirmed that Uche Nwosu is the candidate of APC. But APC disregarded the court pronouncement. I'm sure today or tomorrow they'll sit down and say, oh, we have considered it given section 100 of section 6 the Constitution, section 1000 of the Act, and considering the president versus whoever, we think hope rubbish. That is why when I address people on Radio Biafra, I use common English language that everybody can understand. Because when they rap and the duplicitousness in those flowery words, those English, ordinary people become confused. Do not interrogate, they do not question, they do not invest. But here on radio, we do all of that. We interrogate, we investigate, we probe, and we discover answers that people know existed. Some of you this morning that Hope Uzodinma should not become the Imo State governorship elections. Some of you don't know this. The Supreme Court stated that you, Uche Nwosu, are the authentic APC candidate. Therefore, you cannot contest under AA. Everybody ignored that. Both APC, both the everybody ignored the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Uche Nwosu ran under AA. Hope Uzodinma shouldn't be running around under APC. Very sad indeed, isn't it? That is Nigeria for you. A country where people do not obey the law. You will see Oshomole as ugly as Jimmy. He will talk and say, we obey the law. We are law-abiding in Nigeria. We obey the law. Supreme Court of Nigeria affirmed that APC nominated Uche Nwosu. APC went behind every. In fact, no disregard for the rule of law imposed Hope Uzodinma. Is it becoming very clear now? Now, that very judgment, of course, you cannot vacate Supreme Court. That very judgment, I mean, the fact that Uche Nwosu is a APC candidate has not been said by anybody. But in the sense of law, you see them. You know, they know that we don't like reading. We don't read that much, especially primitive English. They will write one, they will write it. Not right. They basically all over the world. They written parts. They edit it. And they know you cannot read. They know you cannot. That is how they confuse all of you. They say, oh, they're talking grammar. Their grammar is sweet. How to write it. That is where they confuse. You are by the very colorful presentation of English language. Forget the standard. No, just one chat process. You have your capacity to reason, question, and interrogate. But we do it. That is why we state unequivocally this morning that the only I'm giving the Supreme Court of Nigeria the only respectable option out of the mess that they have put them to work for themselves. There is only one way out. Say that the whole multitude of all the problems in the state we have afflictions because the substance of man's position not by any no, impossible because the decision of the court December, I think it was December 19th, 2019 in very clear that is authentic nullifies open where law is practiced. That is only natural outcome. But what chance how they will seek to justify that Hope Uzodinma should be there? That's one rubbish. I will read, and let me not read what the little young man said. But I think that is very, very clear. And why did the sack Hope Uzodinma? To say very simple Hope Uzodinma words said, I will extend it to you. I give you what hope. Our people in the north, those who live in have developed the north, not developed it. The governors of the state where they are residing extend water and land or give them land for their government. He said it. It is not. He came out openly to say it. I'll give you land. I will give you anything you want. Anything I am going to give you. This is a in Imo State. He will give Marjorie anything. Is it hidden? Are people saying that that is what is happening? Despite the experience of people that have the German in their midst. Despite all this is the reason why they brought hope to our land, to the Fulani, to extend electricity to them and water in their settlements, when the same approach is not being offered to our people or adopted by us in relation to communities where Biafrans are doing business in the north. That tells you what he has come to do. They nullified Emeki Jodia and declared Hope Uzodinma as the winner. They said it was a unanimous agreement where they sat together and the results from the 388 polling stations were included in the collation of the final governorship result. Now, this is the question that the judges and Supreme Court has considered. Did you count the votes from the 388 polling units? They did not. How do we know how many people from these 388 voted for Hope Uzodinma? Let's know. How many people is your fictitious 300 police voted for any other candidate? They have no idea. They do not. The Supreme Court of Nigeria do not know how people voted for each and every. They do not know. They just create 18 units. We are excluded. Because of that, we have to Hope Uzodinma. Have you heard of such rubbish before? Only in the zoo called Nigeria. And some idiot with their very flaky knowledge of the law will come and say, oh, the Supreme Court is right. How can you allocate all the votes to one person? You don't even know who for who. To say that justice has some or judgment that the results are added to Mr. Uzodinma and he polled the majority of and also been declared winner by INEC. Vote. Let me use the appellant set of Hope Uzodinma from 388 polling wrongfully excluded judge ascribed to Uzodinma. It is therefore that the appellant from 28 polling units unlawfully excluded from the appellant vote declared shall be added. Also responded to making him elected by majority of lawful cast at the said election. It will be such rubbish. Can anybody in their right mind believe such nonsense? 388 polling units. So the Supreme Court of Nigeria telling us that every vote that cast their ballot in this mysterious 308 units voted for PC only. If it is the case, how no APC House Assembly member was returned in all these areas? A very simple question that we think sensible, reasonable to be asking. If that's the case, if all the APC, how come there is no APC House of Assembly member from those places? But it's very fortunate. They cannot reason very much to export them. This is one thing our people need to understand very clearly. They call their own witness. They a police officer, you must understand this very, very carefully. What is happening in Nigeria? We are aware of what is happening in Nigeria. I think Facebook has been removing people who are listening to the radio this morning. Very, very sad indeed. But we must continue. Of course, we will continue. We'll continue. On Tuesday, January 14, 2020, Supreme Court of Nigeria, in one of their controversial judgments in history, removed the making order and declared the governor, say the winner of the election, and by imposition the governor of Imo State. Now listen carefully. Senator Hope Uzodinma was the one that petitioned, not INEC. Uzodinma was the one that wrote to the court, saying that I have votes from 388 polling units, but these results were wrongfully excluded by INEC. Collation of results. Very carefully, please. Hope Uzodinma brought 54 witnesses, and 28 of them were polling agents. No word, nobody, no word agent of INEC testified. Senator Uzodinma himself testified as prosecution witness number 11. His state collation APC agent testified as witness number 51. And there was a certain policeman, the only slightly, should we say, independent person in the whole saga, testified as witness number 54. Now listen, the results relied on by Hope Uzodinma and the Supreme Court of Nigeria contained in the bags presented by this man. He's a deputy police commissioner. He had with described, listen carefully, as the result from 366 polling units. The police testified. The police said this is from 366 polling units. The ballot opened. The ballot papers or even sought to scrutinize the result sheets. No, it wasn't opened. It's still in a court in a sealed bag where justice must be seen to be at all times. The bag was sealed. It was opened. What I'm telling you are facts recorded in proceedings in the Supreme Court of Nigeria. A police commissioner in Imo State, he was the police witness to the public number 54. He testified. They asked him, "What have you got for us?" He said, "My lord," or should I say lord, or Sharia law, "I have here with me 366 polling units. The results. Don't to see how votes were allocated to who. How many votes Ihedioha had got, how many votes each of us got. No, it's a lot of law. Bring this to a case before. They never checked anything. Unbelievable. Do you now know what they did? Okay, that is true. But in their minds, 306 polling units, according to the results, that was what they did open it because they were lying to themselves. Oshomole APC and Abakiyari, they were lying. They want it at all cost. If not, they would have opened that bag. In a court of law, Supreme Court, they could not open to say, "Show us what is in the bag." They didn't do it. And remember, I said 366 polling units. 366. The police came and said, "We have results of 366 polling units." But the bag wasn't even opened. Did not open the bag. He did not refer to any of the results. And during the transaction in a Supreme Court of Nigeria, they asked the policeman, the Olokpa that brought the bag of results from 366 police. They asked him, "Do you know what the bag you're carrying contains?" He said, "No." "Do you know the number of people who has their vote?" "No." "Can you open the bag?" "No." How did the Supreme Court of Nigeria then know the bag? How did they to know the number that voted inside Mind you, 366, so not 388, according to Supreme Court. How many people voted? They do not know. Policeman that brought the bag, do you know how many people voted? He doesn't know. No, he doesn't. How then? How did the Supreme Court of Nigeria come to the conclusion that all the votes in that bag belong to Uzodinma? How? The bag was not open, it was sealed. They did not count the votes at the back after the public was done. So now they're now conducting a judgment in the middle of the night, or is getting evidence in the middle of the night, not before public view anymore, as any decent thought would do in the world. I want the world to understand the hopelessness of Nigeria. I want the world to understand how not longer is beyond corruption. How I don't have the word for it. I can't describe it. I like the adjective to describe it. What is happening in Nigeria? I'm saying this because of those that say we Nigerians, as Obasanjo have said, Nigerians, we are praying, we are working hard. This is the Nigeria you're working hard for. In Nigeria, where truth and justice will be flipped upside down in broad daylight. In broad daylight. They weave their lies, their web of lies, layer upon layer of grammar, falsehood, English language. English language, they put on top of lies. And they serve you. Instead of you to say that this is wrong, it's the grammar, they can speak grammar or they are authors. You see how foolish we are. Can you see how daft we are? The substance, the lies of the Supreme Court is inside those documents. But because of the flowery, archaic language of English, all of you are bamboozled, you're all confused. But you can't confuse us. Do we look stupid to you? You cannot confuse us. We know the truth. Beneath all these layers of grammar, even if Elizabethan English, not even Elizabeth I. Beneath of Chaucer, the language of Shakespeare, beneath the language of Thomas Hardy, all these archaic English, it's a very simple truth that the Supreme Court of Nigeria, a bunch of liars, they are thieves, they are rogues. They have come to do injustice, not justice. Forget the grammar. Go to what is the substance? The policeman brought a bag. The bag contained tons of 366. This is the police. The police brought 360. Now I'm asking the Supreme Court, where did you get the result of 388 minutes? From where? From where? The simple question is, from where? From who? The police with a bag, they claim we are containing of 366 polling units. Where do you get it from? From where? I'm asking. Can somebody please make sense of this? From where did the police get? I know 367, 368, 369, 370, 71, 72, 73, 74, 5, 7. Oh my goodness. Where did they get the results from? But they are within their right to do it. It is the Supreme Court. The decision is final. It's the Supreme Court, the apex court. These are, when I say to them, I'm very sorry. Some people don't like me for this. Keep saying it. University education in Nigeria is believe me, you were born intelligent, and then you go to school in Nigeria, go to university, you come out more stupid than you were when you started. It's unbelievable. Nobody can ask. Forget all the grammar. Two things stand out in this. Is Hope Uzodinma the authentic candidate for APC? Yes or no? And if it is yes, what happens now to the Supreme Court judgment entered on the 9th day of December, I think, or thereabout, 19th or 20th of December, 20, affirming that Uche Nwosu is the authentic what's it called, governorship. What happened to that Supreme Court decision? So we should set it aside, and you clearly obey law and you obey order. December. I need to get the authentic date. I think it's 2018, not actually 2019. I think it's about 2018 or thereabout, before the elections were held. 2018. Last year was 2019. You see how I have been struggling to make sense of this idiocy. I'm now even confused myself about this. That is how foolish it is. From 366 polling units, they moved to 388. So the same question is to Supreme Court. Where did you get your extra polling units from? From where? I know some idiots who come and say, oh, it's a very small figure. It's from 366 to 388. It's not that. And this UG black, trying to always justify evil. Even if they make a mistake by one polling unit, by one voter, the entire process is flawed and must be nullified. That is why they have no choice than to call for fresh elections. No choice. All these facts here, our consultants are putting it together. Every lawmaker, every judicial body in the world will receive it. And we say them, we told you that these are born criminals that cannot run a civil society, and you are doubting us. Here is the proof and the evidence. Do you think such a person is fit to be a judge? This is the questions we'll be asking every civilized country in the world with facts and figures. Let's see how they will escape it. All of them will be banned from traveling abroad. They all know how Trump behaves. They don't travel abroad. There is no, apart from Britain, there is no civilized government anywhere in the world that will see this travesty of justice. Support it. It's impossible. They only have one option. I know they may go there today and say, oh, we are filing another motion to support the motion we filed, supporting the motion that was filed. You know, the same legal English. I'm now responding to the motion. It was filed this morning. I'm now responding because of yes. Can you believe such rubbish? In a Supreme Court? You come to a Supreme Court to exchange the position and what is it called, and you go home. Supreme Court. In law court in America, I think the complainant or whoever it is will have 1 hour. We'll get 30 minutes at the beginning, opening remarks, then 30 minutes closing remarks, and that's the end of it. They go, they adjourn, they come up with their decision. All this, your exchange of papers and all this rubbish should have been done way before now. How can you come to Supreme Court and you say, oh my Lord, I affidavit this morning. Oh please, can you adjourn in a Supreme Court? Supreme Court. Oh my. And they said they started law in a Supreme Court. Supreme Court only gives both parties maximum 2 hours, 30 minutes, your opening statement. After the deliberation, you close. They ask you questions and you close. And of it, because all the materials they need were filed before that time. Go and do your research. Check a Supreme Court judgment in the world. That is how it works. You don't come and stand in front of the judges and you begin to exchange it and the position. That is rubbish. Pure rubbish. The answer sign. Senior advocate of the zoo. Junior advocate of the zoo. Learned friend, my learned sister, my learned cousin, my learned niece. Rubbish. You don't go to a court for Supreme Court for that matter. You start exchanging letter. These are people. Do you see why we cannot belong to the zoo? Do you see why we can never be a part of that British concocted rubbish? Because people do not reason very well. They cannot reason very well. I want anyone to just Google American Supreme Court judgment or whatever. Go and look at it, how it functions. After all, we copied it from them. They will look to to postpone it. As they are postponing, Hope Uzodinma is giving our land to Fulani. Uruga is coming into Imo State. As they are postponing it. They postpone again. We need more evidence. The Supreme Court, evidence that should have been filed 3-4 months ago. Evidence should have been filed. Is now they're asking for it in a Supreme Court. Oh dear me. They ask us, why do you want Biafra? This is the why we want Biafra. The stupidity is too much. The injustice in the zoo is intolerable. I'm telling you the truth. Policeman, they brought policeman said, I have result for 300. So let me ask these judges presiding over this very case. So when you travel abroad and they ask you what happened in the case, where did you get the other numbers from? You made up the almost 18 extra. Is it 18 police that use it? No, not actually extra 18 police, about 22 police. Where did you get it from? What will you say to them? You are a judge in this very case, Supreme Court judge. Police said, I have results of 366. Where is the rest of the result? They made it 388. Excuse me. Where is the rest of the result? They made it 388. You are a Supreme Court, so the most learned of the learned. Where is it? Where did you get that from? I don't want people to be dancing all over the place. Just a very simple question. Very simple question. I am now setting aside the Supreme Court judgment that affects Uche is the governor of is the governorship candidate of APC. Number one question. Number two, where do you get the extra points to make 388 according to your judgment records? Case is finished. Over. Case is finished. They will be looking at themselves, looking for Abakiyari to give them guidance. They will now run to Yoruba newspapers. Please, how we go to this? You know, people are very stupid. Please write it in such a way to confuse everybody. And you hear one person, because I'm a professor of law from the university. In my opinion, they bring the idiots to China. In my opinion, I think the results should stand. It's the apex court. They forget the substance. You know, that's what they do in the zoo. They always forget the substance. It's the escort. It cannot be reviewed. Even it is human to err, which means an error can be, you know, it's an error. It is a clerical error. That's what they say. That them moving from 366 to 388 is a clerical error. That's what they say. Clerical error. And they will bring out all these corrupt, primitive idiots that said they read law. You will see them tomorrow. They'll be on channels TV. Telling you is a human error. Our lordships can make mistake. Watch and see what's going to happen. The woman sat down to write judgment. All of them. They decided on the figure of 388 polling units. The police came with 366 alleged 300 results of 366 polling stations. And you're telling me it's the Supreme Court? Because of that singular blatant error. Because people don't know that law follows precedence. In other words, if they claim it is an error or mistake, or if they allow this to stand, somebody else can come, deliver a judgment, and cite this very case as a precedent. Oh, it was a mistake. After all, the mistake of Tanko Muhammad's panel, Supreme Court panel, in the Hope Uzodinma versus Making Hedionha case, there was an obvious error and nothing happened. You don't know that law is about precedence? So you don't know that? That law is about precedence. You don't know what law is? That is why this travesty cannot stand. That is why this illegality cannot stand. That is why they need to open that very bag. This mysterious 366 polling units, not 388, mind you. They must open the bag to see what is in the bag. That is their lies. That is the way they lie and deceive ordinary people. And people said, I'm going to law school. I'm very sorry for you. Because though you may be endowed with natural brilliance, practicing law in Nigeria is assembling a bunch of baboons and trying to recite the constitution to them. They won't understand what you're saying. That's exactly what is happening in the zoo called Nigeria. Watch them. They have now all judges that are going to bribe. Watch and tell you the truth. All papers, they will bribe them now. Watch all the newspapers. It is the Supreme Court. It cannot turn back. They will keep saying it until they divert your attention. That was what they did in my day. They came to my house to kill me. And in the process killed 28 people, traumatized my parents so much that they died from the illness that came as a result of their ordeal. But you know, in Nigeria, they paid the Yoruba newspapers. They kept saying that Nnamdi Kanu ran away. He ran away. He kept saying it. They kept saying it. They kept saying it. Until I went to the US. I saw some very powerful people. They said you jumped bail. I said no. Here is the video. Some of them started crying when they saw the video of that Somto Okonkwo shot in my house when the invasion was taking place. That is Nigeria. That is the black man for you. That is how evil the black mind can be. That's what they're going to do to all of you tomorrow. From tonight, they will start. It's the Supreme Court. It's Apex Court. Nobody should challenge them. It's the highest. To make an error is human. I'm telling you the truth. Watch and see what will happen. And then that will be it. And you continue. You start waiting for the turn of your village in 2099 to become a senator. It's the turn of my village. I don't know what is wrong with us, honestly speaking. Listen to this. All the prosecution witnesses, including all of them, admitted during cross-examination that the results were not legible and did not contain the scores of all the political parties that participated in the election. It wasn't even very clear. They testified. What is in this bag is not even clear. Now, how did Akere Dolu, the Supreme Court judge, how did she know what every other person never knew? Can somebody answer that? You can't answer. You cannot answer it. I thought in a court of law that you judge based on what you have in front of you. Isn't it? That is what you judge people on. What is in front of you. Isn't it? So how come that all the witnesses that testified that the Supreme Court should be taking their testimony into consideration when reaching a decision? How come that everybody who testified said this bag here with 366 with the result of 366 polling station or polling units is not legible enough? We cannot read what is written there. By APC. This is packaged material. Because Hope Uzodinma was informed. You don't know. Then packaging is there. So you don't know that Hope Uzodinma was in Lagos as a 419er. He was stealing. He was duping people. You call it Yahoo. That was his job. That was his job. Ask him what it is. Hope Uzodinma. He was duping people. Doing washy, come and buy. And the fucking trade is packaging. When they package it, they give it to you. They tell you, oh, they place $20 on top of for label. We call it label in those days. Those insertions you put in bread. They put 20 and they wrap it. It says money doubling. If you give us money, we double your money. They've not doubled they can double yours. It's called packaging. That was exactly what they did in Imo State. They paid fake result sheets. Wrote it in a hurry. They didn't know what they were writing. Nobody can read it. That is why instead of the Supreme Court justice to say, please, can you open that? Let's see what's in it. They couldn't do that. Because they've bribed all of them. They have all been bribed. Now, don't worry. Tomorrow you hear them. In all those big grammar, legal words. You will see it tomorrow. They will not address a very simple issue. How, my dear court lords, how do you get from 366 polling units to 388? They will never eat. No, there are additional materials. Maybe they'll go and bring another police woman to bring the extra thing. I said, oh, we forgot it in the cast there. It is not, that type of lie that Ushomole and Abakiyari. Unbelievable. All the witnesses admitted that the result sheet did not contain any entry to show the number of ballot papers issued to the respective polling units. Simple thing. You claim all these polling units they voted for Hope Uzodinma. But on the there is no. Okay, how many ballot papers did I send? The answer is 0. Nobody knows. But the Supreme Court, Tanko Mohammed, knows. How did you know? Were you in Imo State? Were you a returning officer in Imo State? I'm talking about the final. I'm talking about the nitty-gritty, the facts and figures on the table. Facts and figures on the table. Facts, figures. Most of the sheets that the policeman was carrying, the 366, didn't show any names nor signatures of presiding officers and the date of issuance. None. All forgery. All 419. Forgery packaged. Ibu Al-Haji. Packaged. Arranged very neat. With an INEC stamp. Everything fake. They are presenting fake documents before a Supreme Court of a country. And to make us worse, those fake documents were not even verified. They were not even verified. Fake. They were not verified. Fake. Fake documents. Fake. Complete and utter fake. The deputy police commissioner who brought the results had no idea about the contents of the result. He knew nothing about it. He came on subpoena. They subpoenaed him and he came. Subpoena means forcing you to come and testify before a court of law. And they asked him. He said, me, I'm an ordinary policeman. I was asked to bring this bag here. I don't know what is happening. He has collected his own money. Even when the lawyers for Ihedioha and the PDP objected and said, this cannot be admissible. If the man you called as a witness is saying, I don't know what is in the bag, don't admit it. The court went ahead and admitted it. And I'm asking the Supreme Court, on what basis are you admitting something INEC knew nothing about? I'm asking, her name is Akedodu. I'm asking her, on what grounds did you admit this as evidence in a court of law? On what grounds, I'm asking? The person that brought the bag said, I don't know what is in the bag. INEC looked at it, he said, they don't know what is there. No result sheet, nothing is there, it's all forgery. You still admitted it in a Supreme Court. That is how corrupt they are. But we are here to expose them. Do I need to say more? During cross-examination, the DCP said he was not of the result sheets in the bag and knew nothing about the contents and the scores. He knew nothing. I don't know. They asked him to bring it in there. He said, I don't know what it is. You know his bag. NX said, no, we don't know. Whose bag is this? It's from Oshomo from APC. They have bribed Tanko Mohammed. They clever packaged it so that PDP won't complain. They have given you Bayelsa, not Imo for us. Imo is Fuga. Imo is for Fulanization. Imo is for Islamization. Imo is for caliquate conquest of Biafra land. They want to plant, or they have already planted Biafra state. That was why they gave away Bayelsa and said, and for certificate anyway, the deputy governor, illegitimate, they should be kicked out. But they to them. But they could have said no, the certificate was not forged. After all, when they were presenting, or when they presented the dead Buhari's forged certificate to justify the candidature of or the candidacy of Jubril, the Supreme Court knew it was forged. When they asked them, but this man has no certificate, they said he cannot be a general without a certificate. And then we asked them, have you seen this? It's called point of law. Have you seen the certificate? Supreme Court said no. But how come you're dismissing the case? Because you cannot be a general without going to secondary school. Can you see how they reason? You see black people. Do you see how we reason? Do you see how we reason? Do you see how black people reason, for goodness sake? You brought somebody to court saying this person has no certificate. They forged the one that they have. And the court said, oh, he can. Okay, why didn't they apply the same rule in the case of the deputy governor of Bayelsa State? To say he cannot be where he is today without those qualifications. But you see, Supreme Court, the rule in your favor, if they're afraid of you, because Buratai Ali or Mongono will send their hitmen. They will investigate their account. They will find some money there. And they'll remove them. They use the organization. Frightened all of them. But tomorrow, some of you will still call them my judge. Is a man of judges. Rubbish. They have nothing upstairs. I'm telling you, don't be intimidated by the wig. They have nothing. I'm telling you, before God and man, they have nothing upstairs. Absolutely nothing upstairs. They plagiarize judgments from all over the world, and they write and they give, and they pay some journalists in newspapers that think rubbish. And that's what they write. There's hunger everywhere now. You pay me, why won't I write? Watch channels tomorrow morning. It is the apex court. You cannot change the ruling. It's the court. Watch what will happen tomorrow. We are telling them, this very case, our God is miraculous. He gave us Imo State this case to make our passage very smooth into the hearts and mind of the civilized world. I don't have to preach very much because I just drop it and say, read it, I'll come back. In a court of law, Supreme Court judges are basing their ruling or judgment on the contents of a bag that nobody knows what is inside, on the contents of a bag that's been forged, on the contents of a bag that electoral umpire have said we know nothing about this in Supreme Court. What is all to make? You call Nigeria is I give it to read. When I come next day, you give me tea and coffee. Is worse than a zoo. On the Supreme Court, you watch and see. Let them ignore Cyperia. My happiness is to know what we can do. So there's no need even complaining. You know what we can do. It is not about a case of dumping documents in court. The same bag of evidence you have ruled against many times, they bring it now because they soft spoken. We need Imo State. We need Imo State. Oh. We need it. Chikina. And you hope someone will be there. Then do you promise to betray your people? He said, of course, betray them. Hey, for ordinary 1 million, they betray the entire contactless of Imo State. They will betray everyone. What is new? Is that not their stock in trade or Hanese? And your government, that's what they have been doing? Betraying all of you. And I've been looking at them. We want the IG of police to help us to organize security. We want the police. Starting from August this year, we are patenting a DNA kit that will be sent down to our land. We want to know those who were actually fathered before and after the war by soldiers, because there are plenty. I'm telling you, the reason is shocking. Absolutely, it's telling you to the system. It is not a case of dumping documents. People contacted Imo State Police Command and they asked the police commissioner said, I have no record of what the documents they are carrying about in Abuja. Police commissioner in Imo State, a Fulani man, said, I have no idea what is in the bag they are carrying up and down in Abuja. Police doesn't know, INEC doesn't know. How come it is only Supreme Judges that know? How come? I ask them. They do not know. How can they know? Devilish people. Devilish people. They caught another. Oh dear me, it's horrible. Unbelievable. The bags that are carrying in Abuja, the police don't have record of it. That bag of 366 police have no record of it. INEC has no record. The number of votes declared by Supreme Court for Hope is far higher than the number of registered voters. Can actually reason where are this? Oh, Chineke, please God, please you. People cannot be this stupid. Can never be anywhere in the world where people can be so stupid that same arithmetic plus 1 they don't know. How can you locate a higher of votes to Hope Uzodinma more than the registered voters accredited to vote? How is that possible? How is it possible? I ask. How is that possible? How? I ask. Okay. It's for those who said they believe in Nigeria. The Nigeria way. Obasanjo, are you listening? You believe in Nigeria. Is this the type of Nigeria you believe in? In Nigeria, where is to allocate votes to people. Phantom votes to people. Votes that never existed. It is in black and white. INEC, can you please give us your figures? How many people voted? Yes. INEC supplied it. It is higher than the number of votes being allocated to Hope Uzodinma. How can any sensible person ever justify such a blatant injustice? How is that possible? Then this leaves everyone out. There is no Supreme Court. Nigeria have supreme corruption. Supreme corruption. At the heart of Fulani Jangid government of Abakiari. People have been bamboozled, frightened, terrorized. Al Sudani is proud out as the face, whereas Abakiari is the main hand rocking the boat. People are so petrified and stupid. Cowards shoot journalists. I say it all the time. Journalists is made for the bold. That is why the only when people talk about the zoo and journalists, the only person is Delegiwa. The only person I remember and I have respect for is Delegiwa. Where are the rest? Where are they? They want to die like Delegiwa. I don't want to die like him. Because Delegiwa exposed corruption with facts and figures. And Babangida sent a pastor and killed him. And instead of people to be morally outraged, people were saying, I'm a Babangida boy. Started boasting amongst themselves. Young as I was, then I lost hope in a black man, to be honest with you. There was a very good man. My hero, a very decent, good man. A crusader. My brother was exposing injustice. And I killed him. They took over Newswatch. What happened? After about a year or two of, on the cover page, they will always ask who killed Delegiwa. They paid him off and he stopped. And, never stay on anything for long. They never remain resolute. Never. You need to remain resolute, consistent, resolute. That thing you identified from the beginning you're fighting for, you fight for it. Don't allow yourself to be distracted. Rego allowed himself to be distracted. He stopped campaigning for who killed Delegiwa. Very sad indeed. Very, very sad indeed. Very sad indeed. The same Supreme Court that ruled in the case of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar when he went to court. The same Supreme Court said that they will not tolerate to dumping of documents. There is not permissible in any trial. The same Supreme Court allowed documents from Imo to be dumped on them. The same Supreme Court. One rule for one rule for another. Go and look at the court records of Atiku Abubakar, Abakiari, Jibril, Al Sudani. Is there. The court opened their mouth and said, we will not allow any dumping of documents. The case is dismissed. The same court is allowing dumping of documents from Imo State. Because the Janjaweed is in charge. Nigeria is taking over the whole place. You're telling me you believe in one Nigeria. There are mad people everywhere. You believe in one Nigeria, my foot. Insane human beings. Insane people who can no longer resume. Fully. They dumped documents on the court. Nobody knows what is happening. They called 28 relevant witnesses, but the same Supreme Court earlier held that one must bring witnesses for polling units. They rule one thing in one case, they rule another thing in another. In other cases, they say, if you're going to rely on the results of this very polling unit, go and get me a witness from that polling unit. They did not do it. One rule for one case, a different rule for another. They were required, since Supreme Court is relying on 388 polling units, the results. They should have brought 388 witnesses. So if you did not bring 388 witnesses, how did it happen in all those polling units? I'm asking the Supreme Court, Tanko Mohammed. You see, they could have gotten away with this nonsense before, when there was no, you can get away with nonsense. But now there's IPOB. You cannot get this. You cannot get away with this rubbish. It is impossible. All these facts and figures are being collected for people that actually went to school. You go through and see that in Africa is for baboons and reason very well. You see, when you go abroad or people treat you lower than you should complain. You brought it upon yourself. Look at what is happening in a Supreme Court. They said no document dumping, but people are dumping documents. They said you bring one witness from all the contested polling units. In this case, 388. They did not bring any. The policeman that brought the bag said, I don't know what's in the bag. INEC, do you know? INEC doesn't know. Then how come the bag made it to all those in court? Open the bag in court, they said we won't open it. Open the bag, let's see what's in the bag. You won't open it. Can you imagine? This is a court of law. Can you imagine police stopping you and asking you to open your bag and you say no? What will happen to you? In a court of law, you're relying on this bag, not even 366 polling units. Yes, then open it, let us see. The court said no, we won't open it. Law. Court of law. Court of law. I don't know who made black people, honestly. Who made black people actually in Africa? Some of them, I don't know why they love gravitating towards evil. What is bad? There is a difference between white and black people. A majority of black people tend to support evil. Why is that? Why? I ask. The result said we don't know what is inside it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And they say they are learned people. They have only one solution, one simple solution that will make them say they are ugly faces. Because as Humble and Zadibe will say, in Nigeria 1 + 1 is 11, not 2. 1 + 1 = 11. And the mind of a black man, very sad indeed. Very, very sad. Very sad indeed. We must continue. The time now is approaching. It's 28 minutes past. Seven in the land. Is it? Yes. It's 28 minutes past the top of the hour. Wherever you. Past the top of the hour. Wherever. We are live and we are direct to the whole world. This, I know it's a bit unusual. This is a morning program. Very, very unusual. Very, very unusual. We'll say. Very, very unusual. And as we begin to analyze the stupidity in the zoo, it gets ridiculous every blessed day. Buratai talks tough, declares war on Niger Delta criminals. But he will never talk tough and declare war on Boko Haram. And all those people committing genocide. No. They can't talk tough. Against them is a war enough. They are Niger Delta militants. And the more these stupid names, the more they isolate you and they kill you. They did it to Abu. They must listen. They did it. The stupidity being exhibited by some people in southern part of Biafra land was exhibited by cancer. We were the same thing. They killed them. It doesn't matter how much or how loyal you are to caliphate. When you sell by it, they kill you. What happened Aboro and to Kenseruwa should have taught everybody in the coastal region of Biafra a lesson. The so-called South, that should have taught everybody a very bitter lesson. The more you keep running to them, the more they keep. Look at Oka. Charles. I was with him in he was informing on his own countrymen. They still jailed him for life. The same people instigated South Africa to hold Henry Oka. That is innocent. Self-imprisonment in a Sokoto prison. Charles Oka. From so-called South, Middle Belt, Niger Delta. These are all rubbish, nonsensical names. He thought that serving APC and the DSS was no. He went down for it. Being a traitor never, ever, ever helps anybody. Never. Burata is talking tough, declares war. They have not declared war on killers and mobs in the north. No. On the Fulani headsmen, no. On the killing of Christians, no. Have they on Niger Delta? Because they call you Niger Delta. If you say all Biafrans, they will say, can they say they have? Of course not. They know the headline will not sound as all over the world. Do you see the trick? They give you, they isolate you, and they kill you. But if we say we are all Biafrans, there is no way they can carry out or conduct anything in that part of the world. That is simple, pure common sense. Pure common sense that some people do not understand or appreciate. Common sense. That is strength. We recognize and know where we are coming from. He said, the success of Operation Crocodile Smile 4 was an indication that the military was battle ready for the criminal elements in the region. You are battle ready in Biafra land, but you're not battle ready in the north. You're battle ready in that call themselves Delta. That battle ready in Niger Delta, but not ready in Sambisa Forest. What does that tell you? That your belief and faith in the so-called nonsensical one Nigeria will kill you. The same way he killed Adaka, and unfortunately cancer. They brought upon themselves. What rejected? Look how of them. Everybody that rejected Biafra, what became of them? Everybody. Everybody that rejected Biafra, the Union of the East, what became of them? Go and read your history, and you see. Came of all of them. They were all failures. All of them, from top to bottom. Today, who is suffering today? I ask you. They are the ones suffering it. Not all. Today, we are, can you believe that? Army General, we are battle ready. But when it came, the North, they asked him. He said, no, we don't have enough, so we need to reach a national 4.4 million. Better ready. And they are from Niger. They are we are one Nigeria. The burrata you are serving, all those pigs, nothing rubbish. The burrata, the caliphate thing, said that battle ready to kill you. Can you hear that? They have burnt down 5 villages in Bayelsa. They are ready. And even now, Yoruba people will write it. Of course they won't. But you never learn anything, do you? You don't learn anything. But I'm very glad that today we are broadcasting live and direct. And as I said, people want to listen to our program and they cut them off. This is what the Yorubas are doing. And I'm asking Yoruba people, please warn your sons that's working for Facebook to leave us alone. Or else we'll come. Remember when I told you that the Fulanis were coming into Yoruba land, and some of you didn't believe me. I told you they were coming, and they came. I want the Yorubas that manage Facebook in the zoo called Nigeria to leave my page alone. You are inviting destruction upon your heads. I've been telling you, you don't want to listen until it happens. We must come to at it again. That very axis, the caliphate axis. Go on, bloodshed could have been worse. Do you see her boasting? Despite the genocide they committed, are still boasting that the war could have, the killing of Biafrans could have been worse. Go on. Do you know why he's saying this? Because go on is free. If you wonder why I hate Ohaneze so much, and those are the idiots, why I hate them so much, because they held this buffoon to account, this mass murderer to account. They never did. Have you checked the list of bloodthirsty dictators in the world? Go to Google and it. The worst genocides, mass murderers in the world. Google it, you will see the name of Gowon there. But he's busy walking by saying he's praying. He will go. And you say you have leaders. When 5 million people were killed. The person that presided over their killing is moving about very freely. I have read for you. We are at ICC with the Buratai and others. Even posthumously with the dead Buhari. They must be our fathers, they messed up big time. Look at Gowon moving about, bragging. There's a civil war. We could have killed more people. Can you believe that? And says here, we are in Pandef, we are in Ohaneze, we are the leaders, elder statesman. Mossad killed every board had a hand in the death of Jews in Germany. And when our time comes, so shall it be for all those that killed Biafrans. But doesn't talk too much when the time comes. Look at the people you have on Ezendiaran and Dioshi, all these idiots. Look at them. Gowon is moving about talking rubbish. Because our lives do not matter to them. What matters to them is who will make my child a minister. How do I serve how do I kneel down before the caliphate so they can make me governor of a state? And now you know why they feel so insecure with. As the Buddha is getting ready to invade the Niger Delta, which is a southern part of Biafra land, we are battle ready. I am asking Buratai this very morning, please, the general never won, even against the ragtag army like Boko Haram, he cannot win. He's a general. You see him, the general has come. This is a general. Mouth general, just like the Supreme Court judges. They are judges by mouth, they don't know the law. As Buratai is saying, we are battle ready for Niger Delta, because of course it's our oil that they're after. The oil and gas in Biafra. That's all. Secure Janjaweed can be eating large. Do you think Buratai will be saying with that of the British? Is the British government supporting him? Everybody, we are here. Tell CNN not to report it. BBC will not report it. AFP will not report it. Reuters will not report it. Nobody will report it. No, nothing happened. We are Britain. We cover everywhere. But as he is planning to invade Niger Delta, I draw the attention of Buratai to Kaduna State. It's called where his fellow Janjaweed Fulani terrorists killed 51 people. You see, I said it that the more you continue to be in one Nigeria, the more you will die. You will be slaughtered. Let me also remind you, those that think that maybe bribing Boko Haram will somehow make it easier. That Boko Haram will one day disappear. You are dreaming. Write it down on a piece of paper. You are in cloud cuckoo. You are insane. They will never ever. So zoo is gone. The zoo you see is gone. Gone and gone forever. The Hausa service of the Voice of America, newborn babies were dead by the gunmen. This is reporting to you from Alamajiri newspaper, online paper, Times. It's owned by the Fulani. It's Alamajiri paper. It's online newspaper. We are not spared in the massacre. In the same Nigeria that is praying for, the mass murderer go on is praying for. And you pray that kids be possible. You know that sustaining one Nigeria will bring mayhem, destruction to pray. BBC, not BBC, Voice of America House of Service. Many residents fled the assailants and set many homes on fire, which is what Nigeria does. Well, that's what we say, the terrorists. And they stole their food as well. Diabu Kerawa, who confirmed the incident, told Daily Trust, who is another Almaty paper, that all 51 victims were buried around 4 p.m. on Sunday. They've been killed. Already. He said it's in South Niger Delta. South Niger Delta. Rubbish, those names, I'm telling you. Burata is not in Kaduna. We are 51 we are slaughtered. And people are praying for one Nigeria. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I don't believe what is happening. And as this slaughter of children is going on, what, as I told you, Channels Television works for Lucifer. They are busy praying for Nigeria. Anytime I say this thing to people all the time, anytime you see your life, there's heat wave now going on, there is no electricity, people are roasting, ask yourselves, rather than going to church and wasting your time, ask God, what have we done? Then God will reveal to you how stupid you are. Collectively, maybe individually brilliant, but collectively how daft you have been. People are dying. 51 people slaughtered in broad daylight, including babies. The Nigerian army is planning to send troops to where there is no war going on. Say already. And you're telling me that you're telling me the human beings? Don't you Fulani people, they are naturally not civilized. By nature. They drink before they don't used to eat. They drink the milk from cattle and they drink the blood. You don't know that? These are the sages, the vandals that are now flooding in. And Obasanjo, instead of rising up and saying that is the best way, they will go together later on. After all, Biafra will be a part of ECOWAS. People can go separate ways and later on if they want to. But the only way to stop the killings of people going their separate ways, that is the only way you can. It's called containment. You contain it. That's happened. Former President Obasanjo said that all hands must be on deck to address security challenges. Why is he saying? Because everybody only wants a piece of the cake. They think that without oil and gas, they will not live. Without oil and gas, they cannot survive. People are so naturally lazy. That is the only thing that sustains, drives their one Nigeria mentality. Access to crude oil and gas. That's all. As people are dying, Obasanjo say all hands must be on deck. According to Channels TV, all hands must be on deck. In the East, there is no statesman of such grace everywhere. They did a very good. They use the media to market all their Pentecostal pastors and all their audience, so that when they speak, listen to them. But in this, you pay the media to report you, or you kneel down to become the governor of your state. Very sad. No honor. Speaking during a costly visit by the special envoy to the Archbishop of Canterbury, Archbishop Justin Welby in Abeokuta in Ogun State capital, Obasanjo maintained that all Nigerians must work and pray for unity amongst all. He was addressing somebody that created him. Nobody must touch anything created by the white man because you're black. You're a baboon. You know nothing. And if Nigeria was created by somebody from maybe Ghana or from maybe Ghana, by now we have changed the name a long time ago because it was created by a white man. That is the reason why. That is the reason why it must stay. Is that and the white man will be looking at Obasanjo. And I'm asking Obasanjo, can you go to Europe and create a country? Can you go to Britain and create? You're an African man. Can you go to Europe and create a country in Europe? But here you are supporting and encouraging what was built by a white man, the age mate of your father. So before the white man came, who was your father? Where did he come? People without pride and honor. We Africans, we mess up ourselves. After messing up ourselves, we start to become white man. We consciously mess up ourselves. After messing up ourselves, we start blaming white man. White man did this. They're discriminating. They're racist. Why when you behave like a fool? You're sitting in front of the white man that your life debased you. You're saying we'll do everything we can to make that thing that you built, this is built to sustain it. And he's looking at you there like the fool that you are. Very sad indeed. Very, very sad indeed. I say about reasonable. They think people are dying. I know you can listen to pray. All hands must be on deck to do what? I'm asking Obasanjo. All hands must be on deck to serve it how? In what way? By Islamization? Never. That's how we can do it. That's what wants now on all the rest of the Janjaweed who are groups. I want everybody to be Islamized. For Nigeria to be an Islamic country. Then that's how you can put all your hands on deck. That's how you can put all your hands on deck and pray for a better. And that's the praying for the Nigerians are very dark indeed. And of course, the whole world is listening to radio. They listen in our universities. The topics they hear or learn from Radio Biafra informs the lectures to their students in Argentina. Some of you don't know this, but we do. They understand more about Africa and how a black person by listening to it more than any other. Because here we speak the truth. We are not here to sugarcoat anything. If we are wrong, we tell you. If we are right, we also tell you. But wrong. Wishing for one. You are wrong. You are bringing death and go to Benue State and ask them. Benue is under siege. We have forgotten about Agatu. All the massacre in Benue, you have all forgotten about it. Have you? You have forgotten. There is no respite in Benue State. Only yesterday, the Governor Autumn of Benue, started raising alarm over the mass of state, lamenting we are under siege of headsmen and we are helpless. God state saying we are helpless and is busy planning to invade Southern Biafra. Ijoland to be precise. Is planning to invade Ijoland, whereas Benue is under siege by armed criminals, armed Fulani gangs, terrorizing and killing. And you're saying God bless the army. Why don't they go to Benue and fight their fellow terrorists? They are planning in Ijoland. They've burnt 5 villages in Ijoland. 5. So it's from this Biafra thing. We are from Niger Delta. Oh dear, stupidity is indeed a disease. This thing started from when, people have very short memory. They don't reason very well. I keep saying, every day I come on air, I tell you. If you like, you listen. If you like, you don't. When they slaughter or your family, you will listen to the by force. You will listen force because we've been telling you listen. All of you have forgotten when the governor of Kaduna State, El Rufai, that they are touting as the future president of Nigeria. That is how foolish people are. Indeed, Once you give them money, black people, once they can feed and satisfy the needs of their stomach, they start talking gibberish. Remember El Rufai? Do you remember him? The governor of Kaduna State. All of you have forgotten how this man openly boasted and paid killers to go and be killing people in Kaduna State. You have all forgotten. This is pushing Tinubu so that I can face and kill him. You have forgotten that this El Rufai stated on the 6th of November 2020 address in his office. Niger, Cameroon, Chad, Mali, and Senegal. And he has located all of them. And he has paid them compensation. A governor of a state paying killers. The same way that to support them in the name of amnesty. And some of you are saying he's a statesman. May the good Lord have mercy upon your soul. South Governor Rufai of paying Fulani herdsmen to kill people of the region. This is not IPOB. People allege that the governor empowered foreign men with funds to perpetrate killings in southern part states, calling for the interrogation of 3 other officers. They said were among these payments by Governor El Rufai and southern Kaduna communities that have suffered the greatest social disruption, economic deprivation, and sustained insecurity of their lifetime. People from southern Kaduna, they told Biafra was their problem. Igbo man is your problem. You see how clever they are. They go to you. They in Ijoland. What is your problem? They are killing you. They are slaughtering you every blessed day. But your stupidity will not allow you to see clearly. Look at southern Kaduna. Mostly Hausa Christian communities. They are under siege. Look at Benue. They told Igbo man is your problem. They are under siege everywhere. Even Yoruba that they conscripted into their conspiracy and against Biafra. Pastor did not kill his daughter. Fulani herdsmen not in Yoruba land. When will people reason? Because here, this platform will reason. This is Biafra. I thank all of you for listening this very morning. It's a very brief program to remind those who are going to High Court, those with their horse wig, what the whole world is waiting is a date. Or ask INEC to fix it. Let the whole world observe and see who win. I don't want to go through that route. We are compelled. We are not asking for anything. We are not asking for war, confrontation, or civil disobedience. No. We are asking you to announce this of fresh elections. Let the people choose who will govern them. Not the caliphate. Not Abakari. Not Oshomole, who is just an Iran boy for the caliphate. Others have suffered. When his turn comes, of course, he will suffer it as well. I thank you for listening and for reasoning with us this very morning. From here, have a blessed day, and it is good morning.